But what's really happening? And why? Does it feel like the world isn't paying enough attention? Let's break it down. And the Rapid Support Forces, the RSF, a powerful paramilitary group commanded by General Mohammed Hamdan Dagalo, widely known as Hemedti. These two generals were once allies. They worked together in 2019 to overthrow the long-ruling autocrat Omar al-Bashir, and then again in a 2021 coup that derailed the country's fragile transition to democracy. But their alliance was always one of convenience, a marriage of power that was destined to fail. The RSF, which evolved from the notorious Janjaweed militias of the Darfur conflict, has grown into a formidable force with its own command structure and economic interests. Hemedti resisted plans to place his forces under the army's command, fearing a loss of influence. General Borhan, on the other hand, saw the RSF's autonomy as a direct threat to the state's authority. This power struggle, simmering for years, finally boiled over in April 2023, plunging the nation into chaos. The human cost of this war is staggering. Imagine waking up not to an alarm clock, but to the sound of gunfire and explosions. This is the daily reality for millions of Sudanese. Homes, hospitals, and schools have been destroyed. Essential services like water and electricity are a luxury. Food is scarce, and the healthcare system has all but collapsed. The United Nations has described it as a humanitarian catastrophe of epic proportions. Millions have been forced to flee their homes, creating one of the largest displacement crises in the world. People are seeking refuge in neighboring countries like Chad, South Sudan, and Egypt, which are already struggling to support their own populations. Inside Sudan, the situation is even more dire. Those who couldn't escape are trapped, facing constant danger and a desperate shortage of basic necessities. Reports from human rights organizations paint a grim picture of widespread violence, with civilians bearing the brunt of the fighting. The capital, Khartoum, once a vibrant city, now lies in ruins. In the Darfur region, a place already scarred by decades of conflict, old wounds have been reopened with terrifying ferocity. There are disturbing accounts of ethnically targeted violence, echoing the horrors of the early 2000s. The situation is a heartbreaking reminder that for the people of Darfur, peace has remained tragically out of reach. So, why isn't this getting more global attention? It's a complex question. The world is currently juggling multiple crises, from the war in Ukraine to economic instability and climate change. Media fatigue is real, and the complexities of Sudan's conflict can make it difficult for an international audience to follow. Geopolitically, while many countries have called for a ceasefire, a unified and decisive international response has been lacking. Regional powers have their own competing interests in Sudan, which complicates mediation efforts. Multiple ceasefire agreements have been brokered, but they have all been violated almost immediately, leaving little hope for a quick resolution. The warring generals seem determined to achieve a military victory, no matter the cost to their own people. But amid the darkness, there is also incredible resilience. Sudanese civilians are the true heroes of this story. Ordinary people have formed neighborhood resistance committees, organizing themselves to provide food, medical aid, and safe passage for those trying to escape. The path forward for Sudan is fraught with challenges. The immediate priority is a lasting ceasefire that allows humanitarian aid to reach those in desperate need. This process cannot be led by the very men who started the war. It must center the voices of Sudanese civilians, the youths, the women, the resistance committees, and the civil society groups who have been fighting for democracy for years. But beyond money and materials, it will require justice and accountability. There can be no lasting peace without holding those responsible for war crimes and human rights abuses to account. The international community, through bodies like the International Criminal Court, must support efforts to investigate these crimes and bring perpetrators to justice. This is crucial not just for the victims, but to break the cycle of impunity that has plagued Sudan for so long. What can we, as individuals, do? It can feel helpless watching such a tragedy unfold from afar, but we are not powerless. First, we can educate ourselves and others, share articles, watch documentaries, and talk about what's happening in Sudan. The more people who are aware, the harder it is for the world to look away. There are numerous credible, international, and local NGOs working tirelessly to help displaced families and provide medical care. Even a small donation can make a significant difference. Third, we can use our voices to call on our own governments to take a more active role. Write to your elected representatives, sign petitions, and demand a stronger diplomatic response to the crisis. The people of Sudan have been let down time and time again by their leaders, and, too often, by the international community. But their fight for freedom, dignity, and peace continues. They are not just statistics in a humanitarian report. They are mothers, fathers, children, students, and artists with dreams for a better future. Their story is a human story, one of resilience against all odds. We must stand in solidarity with them, amplify their voices, and demand that the world acts before it's too late. The future of a nation hangs in the balance. Let's not let Sudan become another forgotten war. Thank you for taking the time to learn about this critical issue. Spreading awareness is the first step toward change. If this video was informative, please consider sharing it. And if you have resources or organizations you trust that are helping in Sudan, please share them in the comments below. Together, we can help shine a light on this crisis. Thanks for watching.